Olivia's face crumbled, the walls of her facade melting away to reveal a mix of shame and regret. "It was never meant to hurt you, Sarah." "I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness," she pleaded. "I never meant for this to happen. It started as a mistake. I had too much wine." Olivia's apologies felt hollow against the backdrop of deceit. The betrayal was too deep, the wound too fresh. Sarah, in her hurt, couldn't contain her rage. "How could you do this to me? How could you do this? Olivia, you are my sister. You are my sister in every way but blood." Hey everyone. It's Esther here, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to my channel. Today, I will be sharing a story about betrayal. A story about how best friends became enemies. And as usual, I will offer some guidance at the end of the story. So, if this is your first time watching my video, please make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my thrilling videos. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. This is a story of friendship that started in the sunny playground of an elementary school. A friendship that blossomed over pinky promises and shared little secrets. A friendship that grew strong as each day passed and became much stronger as the years went by. Sarah and Olivia met when they were just 5 years old in the playground of their school. They were in the same class and shared the same class teacher. Sarah was the only child of Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence, while Olivia was the last child in a family of 5. She had 2 older brothers, and her parents were Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Sarah and Olivia were inseparable. They were the true symbol of friendship. Their bond was a beacon of trust and support. They were not just friends, they were like sisters. From the colorful classrooms of elementary school to the echoing halls of high school, their friendship was a constant amidst the ever-changing backdrop of adolescence. And when it was time to choose their paths for further education, they both decided on the same university, in a city away from home. They shared a cozy apartment just off campus, a place that quickly became a second home for both families. Sarah, the meticulous and driven only child, threw herself into the demanding world of medicine, while Olivia, with her magnetic charm and outgoing personality, pursued a degree in business management. Despite their differing paths, they still maintained a closeness that made others envious. Olivia dated men a couple of times through the years, but Sarah barely looked at a guy twice. Her course at medical school was so time-consuming that she barely had time for a relationship. Olivia graduated from the university and went on to get her MBA. She then soared into the corporate world and secured a prestigious position at a financial institution. Sarah, on the other hand, continued her arduous journey in medicine. Her dedication led her to residency at one of the city's top hospitals, where destiny introduced her to Vincent, a charming young man, whose father was ill and under her care in the hospital. Vincent and Sarah's chemistry was undeniable, and their romance blossomed rapidly. Sarah introduced Olivia to Vincent not as her friend, but as the sister she never had. Within 6 months of meeting each other, Vincent proposed marriage to Sarah, and she accepted. He called her his long-awaited bride and gave her a beautiful diamond engagement ring. Sarah was overjoyed, and so eager to share the good news with Olivia and her parents, but little did she know that her engagement would unravel the tapestry of their lives. A few weeks later, Olivia's boyfriend Jude broke up with her, and she found herself nursing a broken heart while Sarah was away for a night shift in the hospital. Olivia called Sarah on the phone with a sad tone and tears to share the breakup news with her. Sarah then called her fiancé, Vincent, and requested that he stop by her apartment to check on Olivia, just to ensure she was fine. Following Sarah's request, Vincent went to their apartment to console Olivia, a gesture that was done in innocence. Olivia let him in, and they sat talking and shared a few bottles of wine. However, the night took an unexpected turn. Fueled by too much wine and momentary weakness, they slept with each other. This one lapse in judgment sparked an affair that smoldered in secrecy. Even as the plans for Sarah's summer wedding flourished in the light of day, their deceit continued for months, hidden from Sarah, who was often absent due to her demanding hospital schedules. It was an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Henley, who first voiced suspicions that something amiss. She approached Sarah on her way to work one morning, her tone laced with hesitation. "My dear Sarah, I have a question for you. Which of you two is Vincent actually dating? I often see him with Olivia too when you're at work," Mrs. Henley remarked, her eyes a mixture of concern and certainty. Sarah waved Mrs. Henley's concern aside and insisted that she was the one engaged to Vincent, and that there was nothing to Olivia and Vincent friendship. However, after that conversation with her neighbor, confusion clouded Sarah's heart, but denial clung fiercely. She was worried that Olivia had never mentioned seeing Vincent outside her company. But she trusted Olivia with her life, so she pushed the negative thoughts away and continued her medical duties at work. 1 month before her wedding, the whispers of betrayal reared its head up again, but this time in a most unsuspecting manner. An old schoolmate, Jenna, who had always harbored a twinge of envy towards the inseparable pair, inadvertently dropped the bomb. "So, are you ready to be an auntie?" she asked, half mockingly, as they bumped into each other at a local cafe. Sarah, confused, responded, "I don't follow." "Well, considering Olivia's condition, I thought you'd be the first to know. Isn't Vincent excited to be the father of your best friend's baby?" Jenna's words, though casually spoken, struck Sarah like daggers. Sarah felt a chilling draft seep into her soul. Her heart raced as she returned home, the seeds of doubt sprouting uncontrollable tendrils. Her hands trembled as she began searching the house for any hint of evidence. Indeed, she found the evidence: a pack of prenatal vitamins and a positive pregnancy test hidden in the bathroom they both shared. The reality that Olivia, her best friend, could be carrying her fiancé's baby was a brutal blow to her mind. She slumped to the bathroom floor and cried uncontrollably. Sarah felt the sting of betrayal from the two people she trusted most. The pain of betrayal was sharp and deep, cutting more cruelly because it came cloaked in the guise of sisterhood and love. Confrontation was inevitable. Sarah, armed with her discovery, waited for Olivia to return home. The air was thick with tension as Olivia walked in. Sarah held up the pregnancy test. "How long, Olivia? How long have you and Vincent been sleeping together?" Olivia's face crumbled, the walls of her facade melting away to reveal a mix of shame and regret. "I never meant to hurt you, Sarah. It was a mistake. It was a moment of weakness," she pleaded. "I never meant for this to happen. It started as a mistake." "I am so sorry, Sarah." Olivia's apologies felt hollow against the backdrop of deceit. The betrayal was too deep, the wound too fresh. The room echoed with Sarah's yelling at Olivia. "You are my best friend, my only friend. You are my sister in every way but blood. I have known you virtually all my life. We had a bond, Olivia. How could you do this to me? How could you, Olivia? I trusted you with my life. I trusted you with my fiancé. When Mrs. Henley first told me about you and Vincent, I vouched for you, I trusted you, Olivia. How could you do this to me? So, all the while I was busy planning my wedding for next month. You were sleeping with my husband-to-be and even got pregnant for him? What am I expected to do now, leave him for you? My wedding invites have been sent to my guests and then you do this to me. Just look at the embarrassment you have caused me, Olivia. What am I going to do?" Sarah wailed loudly. She couldn't contain her rage any longer, and she flew at Olivia. The physical altercation that followed was brief but intense, a manifestation of years of built trust disintegrating into chaos. Olivia packed her things and left that night, the door closing with a finality that resonated like a somber chord. Few hours later, the doorbell rang. And when Sarah opened the door, there stood Vincent, a man torn by guilt. His apologies were profuse, his explanations desperate. "Please, Sarah, we can move past this. Don't let this mistake ruin what we have," he implored, his voice thick with panic. "How could you?" Sarah kept repeating. Her voice barely rose above a whisper, but it carried the weight of shattered trust. "How could you sleep with my sister? How could you get her pregnant? How many times did this happen?" she asked. Vincent muttered, "Maybe 2 times or so." And Sarah screamed at him, "I want the truth now. How many times did you sleep with Olivia?" Vincent, with his head bowed down, he responded, "About 10 times." "What? 10? Did you say 10 times? Sarah yelled, and started crying all over again. Vincent, tearful and remorseful, confessed everything that happened between him and Olivia. Sarah then removed the diamond engagement ring from her finger as it had turned into a shackle of lies and threw it at Vincent. And despite Vincent's pleas for forgiveness, Sarah told him the wedding was off and asked him to leave her apartment. The wedding cancellation and the reasons had to be shared with their families. The conversation was heart-wrenching, leaving both families grappling with a maelstrom of emotions, anger, disappointment, and disbelief. The scandal rippled through their families, straining the bond between the girls' parents, who had come to regard each other as extended family. Dinners and gatherings became battlegrounds of awkward silences and unspoken judgments. The once warm relationship cooled into distant civility, marred by disappointment and a sense of betrayal. For Sarah, the public humiliation was suffocating, and the whispers in her neighborhood followed her like shadows. She sank into a deep depression, her heartache bleeding into her professional life. Unable to face her colleagues or her patients in the hospital, she took a leave of absence from her residency. Her dreams paused as abruptly as her personal life had been dismantled. Seeking solace and a respite from the place that now harbored too many painful memories, Sarah returned to her parents' home. The familiar environment, coupled with the unconditional love of her family, provided a gentle space for healing. Days turned into weeks, then months, as Sarah wrestled with the betrayal. Her days were long and introspective, filled with long walks and quiet evenings with her parents, who provided the strength she needed to piece herself back together. They didn't push her to return to her life in the city, understanding that the wounds she nursed were profound. The two people loved and trusted betrayed her. The aftermath of the betrayal and the cancelled wedding also left deep scars in the fabric of both Vincent and Olivia's lives. Their secret relationship crumbled under the weight of their guilt. Vincent walked away, leaving Olivia to face single motherhood, a journey she had never anticipated. Gradually, Sarah began regaining the fragments of her old self. She returned to the hospital and concluded her residency. Months rolled into years, and Sarah, now a respected doctor, continued to climb the ladder of her profession. She became known not just for her skills, but for her compassion, a trait ironized by the fact that she had so fiercely guarded her heart against personal attachments. Over time, Sarah began to volunteer in global health initiatives, traveling to underprivileged areas, where the stark realities of life helped put her own pains into perspective. It was on one such mission in Central America that she met Dr. Ethan Moreno, a pediatrician whose gentle demeanor and understanding nature slowly thawed the protective ice around her heart. Their shared dedication to medicine and helping others created a bond that eventually blossomed into love and led to their marriage. Meanwhile, Olivia's path was marred with challenges. Raising her daughter, Sophia, alone, she faced the societal stigmas of a single mother and the personal regrets of her past actions. She left the financial institution, driven by a desire to start anew, and perhaps to build something of her own that could both provide for her daughter and offer restitution for her past. Olivia launched a small marketing firm focused on ethical business practices, channeling her talents into helping nonprofits and socially responsible companies succeed. As for Vincent, he just disappeared into thin air. He traveled abroad when his father passed away and was never heard from. He never saw his daughter Sophia. Now let's share some tips on how to minimize the risk of experiencing this kind of betrayal. Have open and honest communication with your partner. Discuss feelings, attractions, or any discomforts openly to prevent misunderstandings and hidden emotions. This can prevent secrets that might lead to bigger issues. You must clearly define what is acceptable and what is not in your relationships. This includes setting boundaries about interactions with mutual friends and significant others. It's best to discuss and clarify what actions or behaviors are considered inappropriate within friendships and romantic relationships. Be mindful of situations that could lead to unintended consequences, such as spending time alone with a friend's partner, especially during vulnerable times. Always think about the potential implications of your actions. Trust is crucial, but it's also wise to heed any warning signs or gut feelings you might have. If something feels off, don't ignore it, investigate it respectfully and tactfully. Surround yourself with friends who respect your values and boundaries. A true friend will avoid putting themselves in situations that could potentially harm your relationship. If you find yourself or notice someone else developing inappropriate feelings, it might be useful to speak to a counselor or therapist. Professional guidance can help address these feelings in a healthy way. While close friendships are valuable, ensure that your happiness and sense of self-worth are not entirely dependent on any single relationship. Cultivate a strong sense of self and diverse social support systems. Understanding the profound effects that an affair can have on relationships can deter such actions. Discussing these consequences with your partner can reinforce the importance of fidelity. Reflect on past mistakes. Learn from past errors either in personal relationships or from observed situations. Reflecting on these can be a powerful deterrent against repeating similar mistakes. By adopting these few tips, you can foster healthier relationships and minimize the risk of experiencing the kind of betrayal Sarah went through. And that wraps up today's video. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and don't forget to subscribe for more intriguing stories. It will really support my channel if you do so. I would also love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. This is a Stories of Our Lives by Esther. And I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.